you should have someone who's ahead of you in seasons mentoring you, and
Sure.
you should be mentoring someone who's, newer in the faith or in a previous season you just gone through.
Exactly.
So respect isn't automatic. We talk about a lot about respect in the idea of the household, right? But we talk about the idea that, you feel like, hey, I deserve respect. And we all deserve respect to a certain extent.
Basic human respect, yeah.
I think what we kind of fall in the trap is that we expect respect. That's a tongue twister right there. Expect respect regardless of how we treat the people around us.
Right. I can act any way I want, and because I am a dad or a husband or a leader, you must respect me.
Right. Because I think we see this so much in the Bible about servant leadership, about Jesus led, he washed people's feet. He ate with the sinners. And, a lot of people respected Jesus. And you never saw Jesus walk around like, I'm the Son of God, you better respect me. That's how this works. I mean, he was crucified the way they crucified criminals. They
Sure.
dealt with criminals. I mean, the most humiliating way to go.
Yeah.
And I think that we can really fall in this trap of like, we force those around us to respect us by throwing around our weight, our influence, our financial ability, whatever.
Right.
And we don't really back up that respect with anything that is biblical. We just go, I'm the head of the household. I should be respected and feared by everyone in this household. And that's how I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we struggle with consistency and integrity, right? I think that, hey, look, to credit all the guys listening, you're going to have bad days.
Sure.
I mean, you're going to have probably more bad days than good days for some days, some years. Try to be as consistent with your wife or your children as possible, and let them know, look, I'm having a bad day. Just give me, 5-10 minutes to gather myself, and then go pray, and then come back.
Yeah.
Don't go turn on ESPN, catch up with the game, or just go sit in the sofa and think, well, it'll be basketball minutes. It'll be like 45 minutes later. But being consistent, if you're supposed to be there, be there. That job will wait. I had a friend who was applying. He was thinking about applying to Apple. And
How long ago was that?
this is 2005 or 6.
Oh, okay. It's 2 decades ago.
Right. Oh, 2000. Goodness. I feel
Just drop that little nugget there.
Thanks. Isn't 30 years the 70s? What are you talking about? So he was like, I'd be making 4 times what I've made in the past, but I'm going to be probably traveling, working like 70, 80-hour a week, kind of weeks, and it's probably going to be about 2.5 years. He had children of about like 2 to 4 range. I had 2 of them, and he asked me, "Do you think it's worth it? Me missing some of that time for, just say, $450,000 a year?" I said, "Absolutely not. I don't care what the number is.
Yeah.
You won't get those years back. You can always make money,
Yeah.
but you won't get those years back, and you're going to regret that moment you missed because you were doing whatever at Apple. I don't care who it is. Tesla's passing out free robots. I don't care. Your family time is precious. Only more precious than that is time with God.
Yeah.
Right? Your walk with Christ. So if you're willing to give that up for a job, where's the line? Right? Being consistent and just having some integrity around that your family can trust that you're going to make that right decision.
Right. And when you do that, that's when the respect kind of kicks in.
Right.
Like, if you're, walking with Christ, you're being a faithful husband and a faithful dad, and you're having these conversations about with your children about, your faith and, being that spiritual partner to your wife. And that's when the respect comes in. I think we kind of we put the horse or the carriage before the horse. We try to be like, I want the respect now. I'll do the work later, or I'll figure that out. Just give me the respect now. And I think we forget that there's so much buildup that needs to happen to even get the respect, because how often do you hear that someone's like, I've been in this industry for 40 years. I mean, that commands some respect, right? He's been in the business for a long time. He knows what he's talking about. And then you got someone else like, I've been here for 2 days. I think I know more than you. And you're like, okay, listen here, whippersnapper. That's not how this works. And so I think you apply that to all of them, your walk with Christ. We talk about mentorship a lot in this series about you should have someone who's ahead of you in seasons mentoring you, and you should be mentoring someone who's newer in the faith or in a previous season you just gone through.
Exactly.
And I think that we all crave respect, I think, from those that we see value in around us. But I think we need to make sure that we understand that it can be given, but if we misuse it, we abuse it, or we do things that really garner, correction of like, hey man, you can't be, just because you're higher up in the totem pole, you can't be like, well, I'm going to really throw my weight around, make sure you can't get that promotion, or, hey, I'm higher on the Sunday school list of teaching, so, you should probably go somewhere else. We don't like you here, kind of thing. You start doing those kind of things, that's when the respects are, okay, I don't respect you anymore. Your actions are reflecting where your heart is, and if your heart is not in line with the gospel, in line with what Christ wants for us, that's when respect starts getting taken away.
I mean, Jesus said the first should be last,
right?
And if you are a person who craves the spotlight, it doesn't make sense to you. It's like, well, I can't do that. I got to be, I know someone who desperately wants to be in control, but never wants to be in the lead. They're the backseat driver for life, right? And so last night we were watching a program, and the guy, a trope of a husband, right? On Sunday, he's home watching football. Where's his wife? At church. So she brings home the pastor. They're trying to interview some new pastors. She's on the committee, brings him home. Over the next couple of minutes, the husband becomes jealous because the pastor and the wife have this common bond of her faith. And he says he believes, but he doesn't show it. And so he becomes jealous of the pastor who's not trying to make moves on his wife. They're just talking about their faith together. And so when you are ignoring your partner's spiritual needs, it's going to sound a lot like that.
Yeah.
When your wife is, I have an uncle, he describes his wife as, she's a church lady now. She goes to church every day because she's retired. She's a church lady. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means, but it sounds like you don't respect that title. And so your wife, and you do too, both need a spiritual partner if you're married. If one or the other is not, that's unequally yoked.
Yeah.
And every time we get a prayer request around a breakup or a dysfunctional marriage or a separation or something like that, it's about that. And we ask questions, and I mentioned this several times, that we ask questions like, do you both are believers? Do you go to church? When's the last time you read the Bible together? Did you study together? Never a response.
Right.
And so somewhere in the middle of those two stories are the truth, usually.
Yeah.
And but you can see how easy it is for a partner who is looking for their spiritual other half struggles, right? And so if you're not there for your spouse, I'm not saying that she or he is going to go find that elsewhere, but by them going to seek other believers, Bible studies or community events or going to church or whatever, you may feel a little bit like a little bit of jealousy of, I don't have that with you. Gee, if you can only fix that.
Right. And we always talk about when you are married and you're getting closer to God, you're getting closer together, right?
Sure.
As long, it's a triangle, right? The closer you get to God, the closer you are to each other.
Yep.
And that's how it always should be.
Yep.
And I think when you, play that off of like, oh, that's not my job. That's above my I don't want to deal with the emotions and you know, I give it to the church, and that's kind of where I draw the line, or whatever rationalization you do for yourself. I think you do your wife such a disservice of not being the spiritual leader, because we talk about being a leader in the household, a biblical leader, you know, what biblical manhood looks like, and that is a myriad of things. I mean, it's financial, you know, leadership, but also it's, you know, spiritual leadership, you know, emotional leadership. It's everything in between. Right. And, you know, we all work at it. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but you can't ignore it just because you don't like it.
Yeah, and if you don't like some part of it, you probably need to be working on it.
Yep.
And I guarantee you, if you go to your wife and say, I feel like there's a distance between us and our kind of walk together with Christ, I'd like to do a Bible study focused on marriage. I think she would love that.
Yeah.
You may start it, and it's going to feel a little weird. You won't like it because it's not talking about sports and ball games and cars and that kind of thing. But it's needed, and it's needed more than we think. And so if you find that you're looking for a small step toward that, Uncommen.org, we have a ton of content, a lot of devotions, marriage studies. We're on YouVersion. We're on Olive Tree. Check us out. There's even over 80 devotions on our website. A third of them are marriage stuff that it's catered toward the men, but I think if you and your wife did some of these, it would probably shed some light on where you're at in your walk. But if you're looking for something that is going to, but for the both of you, start with the 5 love languages. Gary Chapman, I'm still waiting for that check. Or men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti.
Yeah.
You'll thank me later.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see there's a reason there's so much material out there for marriages, just because it is, you know, we are two very different people, I think, you know, just different priorities, different communication styles. But I think that, you know, when you're doing these marriage studies, it's going to get a little uncomfy because you're going to get called out. Yep. And she'll get called out. And that is when the moments you realize that, you know, you have things to work on. She has things to work on.
Don't keep score.
Right. And you have things to work on together.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as you come in with it with, you know, kindness and grace and mercy of like, you know, I'm a sinner. I goof up all the time.
Right.
You are also a sinner, goof up all the time. Let's see how we can make some non-goof ups happen.
Right. Set some expectations before you open that book, and commit to each other that you're doing this to better your marriage. So, Joshua, hit him with it.
If you're going to be something, be uncommon.